It's a bright sunny day in Gotham City. But amidst the springtime hustle and bustle, a cloud of gas spreads menacingly across the city streets. Daytime news coordinates quickly. I repeat, someone appears to have launched a chemical attack against Midtown Gotham. The scene has been pandemonium as the police work to clear the area. Helicopters roam the skies, trying to get a clear view of the goings-on inside the gas cloud. A gas attack, with harmless gas, one reporter noted. It's almost like someone wanted to clear the area. Looking at the perimeter, it's tightly circumscribed, like a stadium, an arena. In the center of the cloud, a giant hulking titanium suit of armor stands tall amidst the buildings and abandoned streets. The gargantuan mech whirs and growls, its high-tech machinery processing data at tremendous speeds. Within the chest of the mech, a bat symbol plain for all to see, announces the iconic owner of the suit. "Come on," Batman calls from inside his mech armor. "It's just you and me. Think you can take me here in my city? Then step into the ring. Welcome to Gotham." 30 minutes later, Bruce Wayne is having horrible visions. He dreams of doomsday scenarios. Fatal alien attacks with one central moment always the same: his own demise. Alfred wakes Bruce from his troubled slumber. "I'm sorry, Alfred. This injection should put an end to the visions." Alfred carefully puts the needle to Bruce's skin, giving him what they hope will be the cure to Batman's most recent run-in with Jonathan Crane's fear toxin. Holed up in his newest high-tech hideout, Batman has Alfred's daughter, Julia, scanning the entire city for ongoing crimes. Alfred and Bruce take a moment to reminisce as they stare out across the Gotham skyline. "Look at it," Alfred says. "The city will outlive us all. It gets younger. We get older." Bruce smirks at his old friend. "You get older. I get better. I'm in my prime." Alfred ribs back. "Sorry, sir. I couldn't hear you through all the bandages. Just remember, you're not a god, Master Bruce. You." But the two men's friendly conversation is interrupted when Julia spots something approaching at high speed. "What the hell is that?" She has no time to wonder aloud. Screams Wonder Woman as she careers through the reinforced bulletproof window, sending shards of glass scattering across the room. She mercilessly collides with a bandaged and still bruised Bruce, taking him by the collar and pummeling him into the concrete floor. Ripping him up in her ironclad grasp, Wonder Woman quickly and roughly flies him out of the safe house and into the Gotham skies. Bruce coughs weakly. "Diana," he starts to say. "Quiet, Bruce," Diana responds curtly. "I'm not going to listen to you anyway." But Bruce Wayne has never been one caught without a trick up his sleeve. Reaching into his utility belt, even as the wind whips around him, Bruce removes two small patches, deftly placing them on Wonder Woman's temple. Violent sonic vibrations sound deep in Diana's ear canals. She loses focus from the instant pain and loses her grip on Bruce as she flies. Batman tumbles out of the sky into Gotham Park, where moments later, Diana lands to finish what she started. "You're only prolonging the inevitable, Bruce," she tells him, without a hint of the usual mercy in her voice. "Damn it, will you just talk to me?" Bruce begs her. What the hell is going on? Wonder Woman stands over Bruce, who struggles to stand after such an impact. "It's simple, Bruce. The League is here to do something we've wanted to do for a long time. Kill you," she says, lifting her sword above her head to execute her teammate and friend. Bruce dives out of the way, desperately trying to create distance between him and the oncoming demigod. "Julia," Bruce yells into his communicator, "you and Alfred have to enact Plan Fenrir." Alfred signals back. "Are you sure? Can you get down to the suit? Just do it. Release the damn gas." Cutting back to the present, Bruce now stands before Diana in his full Fenrir armor. She's not pulling her punches, Bruce realizes as he and Wonder Woman clash, her fists denting his armor with each powerful swing. "So you can't either." Seeing his opening, Batman throws all his strength into one solid roundabout. The power of the Fenrir mech sends Diana flying through a nearby building. "Have to fight through whatever this is. Please tell me who did this to you." Bruce calls to her, praying that he can get through to Wonder Woman before the battle escalates any further. "Maybe no one did this to me, Bruce. Maybe I just hate you. Maybe we all do. And this is simply the end." Diana stares back at him through dead, unfeeling eyes. Bruce can sense something is wrong but can't quite put his finger on what. Wonder Woman charges back at Batman at speeds no man could muster. "There isn't any armor in existence I haven't cut through," she says between swings. as she chops and glides her sword between the notches and weaknesses in Bruce's suit. Eventually Diana stands above her victim as Batman lies bleeding on the ground. "Just let it go dark, Bruce. Let it go dark," she whispers as he dies. In reality, however, Wonder Woman stands above no one, staring down at a dying body that isn't there. Utilizing a rare magical thread called the Bind of Veils, Bruce was able to subject Diana to a vision of victory, allowing him to escape unnoticed and unfollowed. Wonder Woman stands tall, confident her prey has been Elsewhere in the city, Bruce's Fenrir armor remains fully intact and operational. But no sooner does Bruce manage to get out from under Wonder Woman's blade than a whirling sizzle of red lightning streaks by him. With each pass, the Scarlet Speedster deconstructs more and more of Bruce's armor. The Flash is literally taking him apart bit by bit. "Run, Red!" Batman screams as quickly as he can. Instantly his armor begins processing the Flash's trajectory. As Flash speeds toward the mech, a shoulder cannon shoots out a frictionless coating on the street below the speedster's feet. Then as the fastest man alive begins losing traction, Fenrir's armor takes over and smashes the Flash with a punch that would crush an elephant. "The whole thing is over before I even know it," Bruce thinks to himself, glancing at the aftermath of his armor's takedown. "Enough tricks and gadgets." A domineering voice calls from the sky. Aquaman floats down, his legendary trident pointed directly at Bruce's heart. "Now turn and face me like you have some damn honor and will." But Arthur's call to arms is cut short. Without hesitation, Bruce fires another cannon from the suit's artillery system. A pink, gel-like substance strikes Aquaman squarely in the chest and begins encasing the Atlantean in hardened, unbreakable foam. "That's the thing, Arthur." Bruce's voice hums from inside the mech, as Aquaman falls helpless to the street. "There's no..." Julia's voice crackles over Bruce's comms as he leans over Arthur to get some answers. "We're picking up movement. Something big coming at you." "I'm staying here," Bruce tells her. "It's the only safe place to fight them." Though he projects confidence to Julia and Alfred, inside Bruce is worried about who might be coming for his head next. Please let him still be off planet," Bruce starts to pray. But it's too late. A deafening boom echoes inside the Fenrir mech as Batman is hurled through a nearby wall into a grand theater. The rubble shifts and threatens to swallow the mech entirely. As Bruce struggles to regain control of his armor, he looks up to the sky, staring out of the gaping hole the impact left in the side of the theater. Superman, in all his wonder and glory, flies easily down to the floor. "Hello, Bruce," he says. "Sorry about your little Justice Buster suit." Again Batman tries to reason with his attacker, Clark. Superman hovers above the floor as the Fenrir armor finally rights itself. Clark nearly laughs. "Who?" "Well, Bruce, it's actually sort of funny," Clark says. All across the city, the members of the Justice League begin to chuckle. Finally it dawns on Bruce who he's been dealing with the entire time. No, not him," Batman shouts, staring at Clark as his face begins to twist in a grotesque cackle. "Oh yes, Bruce," Clark says, "and no one's going to save you this time." Within moments Batman is in the fight of his life. Superman brings down the full force of a boulder on the Fenrir armor, causing Bruce to be shot down into the lower levels of the theater. "Hi, Bruce," Clark cackles like a madman as he follows his friend down into the depths of the basement. All he sees is a target, Batman, no sign of his old teammate behind Clark's eyes, not the slightest flinch, just glee. Understanding that this could very well be his last stand, Batman powers up the Fenrir armor's anti-Kryptonian capabilities, bathing the pitch-black basement in grim red light. One seismic blow sends the Man of Steel to the ground as Batman desperately fights for his life. "You like the knuckle?" Bruce says, referring to the pinpoint red energy cells located on the Fenrir's fist. Each pod contains microscopic red suns collected from dead solar system. "I call them my red giants." Again and again Batman strikes Superman. The red light of his armor greatly weakens the Kryptonian, leveling the playing field between the two. An uppercut sends Superman crashing through the streets above and back out into the sunlight. Laughing maniacally, Supes unleashes his heat vision, hoping to sear through Bruce's armor and pierce the man inside. The Fenrir's deflector shields come up just in time, reflecting the beam harmlessly into the atmosphere, and Bruce lives to throw another punch. But the Jokerized Superman isn't playing fair. His next heat vision strike is launched toward the nearest building, melting the supports and toppling the entire structure down onto Batman. With the Fenrir armor crushed and useless, Clark cuts through the metal exoskeleton with ease, yanking the entire mech out of the rubble and launching them both into the sky. "Where are you, Bruce?" Clark taunts as he rips through the layers of protection with his bare hands, looking for the operator inside. "Clark, listen to me," Bruce pleads as the last of his protective armor is stripped away. Please. This isn't you, it's him. Clark looks down at Bruce with nothing but disdain. Superman pauses for a moment, then says, he says begs. Batman's eyes turn to steel. He stares Clark in the face, both knowing that Batman would never beg for his life, no matter the cost. Bruce bats at Clark's eye, but it isn't purely disrespectful. Alfred calls it kryptonite gum, he muttered. The small wad of chewable rubber makes contact with Clark's skin, causing Superman to double over in pain. Clark drops Batman almost instantly, falling unconscious midair. Together Superman and Batman plummet toward Gotham Harbor, impacting with a splash, and allowing Bruce to escape the Justice League's clutches. Back in the safety of one of his caves, Bruce, Alfred and Julia assess the Joker's new strain of toxin. Having collected and sedated the Justice League, Bruce is able to ensure Joker won't have any superpowered sidekicks to do his dirty work for him. He's planning something big, Bruce says. That's why I have to catch him, and why you need to get somewhere safe, both of you. Alfred's anger flares at Bruce's suggestion to go into hiding. No, he tells Bruce. When he attacks you, he attacks us all. This is family. But Alfred's brave words are undercut by a sudden coughing fit, betraying his frailty and old age. Bruce kneels before his caretaker. You want to stay, Alfred? I'm not going to fight you, but at least rest. Alfred stares Bruce dead in the eyes. I'll be fine, sir. Now if you'll pardon my language, go get that bastard. Arkham Asylum. Batman makes his way to Arkham under cover of darkness. Of all Gotham, this is the place I hate the most, he thinks, traversing the familiar halls toward the Joker's cell. Walking inside, emotion and anger overtake Bruce. He rips the chains off the wall, tears the meager bunk to shreds in rage. After the commotion, a meek voice sounds out in the silence. Batman, are you all right? An orderly asks. I'm fine, Mr. B. Order. Batman tells him, continuing his investigation. The orderly keeps talking as Batman stands inside the cell. When I first arrived in Gotham, I did want to help. It's all I wanted to do. I wanted to help you most of all. But then I saw that there wasn't any help in you. His tone changes drastically. Because you don't see a helping hand even when it's right in front of your face. Batman whips around. What did you? But it's too late. The cell doors clang shut behind him, trapping Batman in the very cell he'd sent Joker to so many times before. Batman stares out through the bars, helpless. You really don't recognize me, do you? The orderly says. Batman struggles against the bars that hold him. B-order is a homophone for border, which is an obsolete word for Batman finally puts the pieces together. Jester, my God, he whispers, as he watches the orderly wipe the makeup from his face. Suddenly gas begins seeping from the floor and the walls, creeping toward Batman. The Joker is staring back at him, his sinister grin and cold shark eyes chilling Bruce's soul as three words escape the clown's smiling lips. You miss me. The oxygen in the cell dwindles and Batman begins to collapse. The gas getting to you? Joker screams. It's a little paralytic I cooked up. I know you immunize yourself to so many, so something special. Batman slumps against the bars. You, he moans. Unable to speak. It's really me, Bats. Joker responds gleefully. I've come to see you one last time. You won't be able to move when it all starts. Joker tells Batman as he slowly slips from consciousness, desperately trying to hold on. You'll be aware, of course. The first infection, the second and third, the party growing. You'll see it happening, but I'm afraid you won't be able to do anything at all. As he speaks, images of what will soon befall Gotham play in Batman's mind. A city-wide infection with no cure or hope of stopping the toxin from spreading. Sounds dreamy, eh? Joker screeched as he looked in at Batman through the cell door. See, Bats? This time no more games, no more jokes. I'm just here to close up shop. Slowly as Bruce watched, Joker took a long pistol complete with his iconic bang joke flag hanging off the barrel from his coat pocket. Then I promise you one thing, Joker said. When you come out of it, everyone in Gotham, the whole city, will be laughing at you. With that, Joker's finger squeezed the trigger and a horrible bang ripped through the walls of Arkham Asylum. Batman, paralyzed, stared at the screens in front of him. He was back in the Batcave. Joker wasn't going to let him off that easily. Even though he couldn't move, the rage was plain on Bruce's face. You're better than this, Bruce thought to himself. You're not 32 and strapped to a chair, poisoned, paralyzed. He's just another criminal, and this is just another case. You're bigger than your feelings, bigger than your body. As Batman's eyes stayed glued to the screen, a blip on the map of Gotham appeared. Biohazard, it read. Joker's game had begun. Bruce began to sweat as his brain struggled to make his body move again. Then eventually he yelled as he regained control over the poison's effects. The second Bruce was back to himself, he snapped into action. Gotham had already collapsed before his eyes as the Joker toxin spread, and Bruce wasn't about to let it go any further. A virus that spreads like laughter, he said, as Alfred and Julia clued him in on the tests they had run on the sample already. I've created nearly 100 cures for Joker toxins over the years, Bruce told Alfred confidently. How many have you tested so far? Alfred looked downtrodden. Bruce, he started, but Julia interrupted him. We tested all of them. The father and daughter had tracked down patient Zero to Gotham Hospital, and even before he was sure his body was his own, Bruce set off into the night. On his way to the hospital, Bruce called his other oldest ally in the city. Tell me you have a cure, Commissioner Gordon said the second he picked up. If we don't find one in the next few hours, they're quarantining the city. They're bringing in walls. I'm en route to find the source of the infection, Batman told him. Once I get what I'm looking for, I can send a formula for a proper cure directly to the console. Stay alert, Batman ordered. But as Batman descended into the city, he looked down the streets and saw a riot of infected, Jokerized citizens fighting. His eyes grew wide at what the city had become. Finally, Batman reached the hospital. He crashed through a window, the infected waiting to greet him. They cackled as they watched him with hateful eyes. Batman out, he told Jim. Bats? The infected murmured as they swarmed toward Batman. He fought them off, careful not to use full force on innocent civilians. Every door Batman made it through safely. More and more Jokerized Gothamites waited to attack him. Meanwhile, Jim Gordon was going through old photos of Gotham Hospital. He combed disaster reports until his cigarette fell from his mouth. The unmistakable face of the Joker stared back at him from a newspaper clipping. Nearly 100 years old. Again, 50 years later, during a horrific disaster at the hospital, Joker's face stared from the newspapers of the past. Suddenly, as he kept searching, Gordon heard a creak echo from inside the apartment. Who's there? Jim yelled. Pistol. He crept through his house, but when he approached the closet, a giant boxing glove on a spring sucker punched him, sending him to the ground as he fell beside the bed. Two dark eyes lit up from underneath the mattress. Knock knock. The clown's voice. Batman finally made it to the room of patient Zero. When he walked into the containment unit, however, he saw a face he never expected to see. It can't be, Batman whispered, looking at the smiling face of Joe Chill staring back at him. The man who murdered his parents. When Batman turned, his world suddenly became more colorful and dynamic. He watched as a young boy named Duke Thomas and his family played out the exact night Bruce had lost his parents. No! Batman screamed, helpless to save the boy. Gordon screamed as Joker began crawling out from beneath his bed. Oh, come on now, Jimbo. Joker toyed as he crept closer. Joker snapped his fingers and the curtains in Jim's apartment went up in flames. He laughed maniacally as Jim scrambled for safety. Joe Chill stepped out from a dark alleyway and leveled his gun at the Thomases. Batman panicked. Not again. Abject fear painted Duke's face. As the mugger grew closer and closer. Move and I'll cut you down, Joker. Gordon yelled, finally getting his hands on his gun. No more politics. No more dotted photos of gags. Joker laughed. Still advancing. You know, maybe just this one time. It's not a joke at all. Joker grabbed an axe from the corner of the room and turned to smile at Jim with fire raging behind him. Batman smashed through the glass that had held him back from saving the Thomases, while across town Joker took a swing at Gordon. At the same time, both Joe Chill and the Commissioner unloaded their weapons. Batman dove in front of the bullet meant for Duke's father, while Joker took Gordon's bullet head-on. Batman and Joker both fell to the floor. Batman rose, having saved Duke Thomas from the same fate he'd suffered. But the hole Batman left in the glass was enough for more infected to follow. Look, Duke called, pointing to the army of Jokerized doctors and nurses fast approaching. Duke's parents were lost to the virus as the crowd overtook them, but Batman grabbed the boy and shoved him out of the room. Keep going, Batman yelled as they ran. Batman's communicator lit up. Batman, he's gone, Gordon said, relieved. He's gone, flesh and blood dead, he told Batman, staring down at Joker's body. Batman and Duke raced through the hospital as Gordon kept talking, but behind him, when he took his attention off Joker's corpse, the clown rose from the fires and silently stared at Gordon. Batman swerved and drove out a nearby window to protect Duke from the hordes of Joker zombies closing in on them. Jim! Jim! Are you there? Batman yelled into his earpiece. A sickening, cold, all too familiar voice answered him. Hello, Bruce?